доктор Содаtenка Університету Національного Тарас Шевченка, колегіум Чернігівський, Україна. Domnul Sodatenko, mă rog să v-ați venit.
Hello, can you hear me?
Даю вам слово.
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah. I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes, we hear you. We hear you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to share with us your presentation?
Yes. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, dear organizers, participants, guests, good day. I'm Alexander Igorevich Sodatenko, candidate of pedagogical science, associate professor. I send you greetings from the Taras Grigorьевич Шевченка National University, Чернігівський Collegium, and Department of Art Disciplines. I sincerely thank you for the opportunity to participate in the International Scientific Conference, Harnessing Well-Being in the Educational System, New Paradigm and Opportunities. My topic is the transformative impact of inclusion in musical art on the socio-cultural life of Ukraine. I chose the topic of the report not by chance, because it's closely related to the courses we teach, fundamentals of inclusive pedagogy in art education, inclusion in the social cultural sphere. In modern Ukrainian society, the process of introducing inclusion is a fundamental principle of social development, covering all spheres of human activity. In particular art, it's becoming increasingly relevant. Musical art, as an most universal form of a cultural expression, has a powerful potential for the formation of an inclusive space favorable for creative self-realization of people with special educational needs and social challenges. That's why an important task of modern educational and cultural policy is to create conditions for attracting everyone to active musical life as a participant, listener, and creator. The transformation of musical art is an inclusive dimension not only expands the boundaries of artistic communication, but also contributes to rethinking the values of solidarity, diversity, and equality. This phenomenon affects the socio-cultural life of the country, stimulates the development of the formats of interaction between professional artists, amateurs, and audience, which allows for deeper interpersonal connections and forms new cultural meaning. In this context, there is a need for a comprehensive scientific analysis of the transformative impact of the inclusion approach in the field of musical art on sociocultural life of Ukraine, determine its key trends, challenges, and prospects. As it knows, the social cultural life of a country is a set of processes, phenomena, and practices that reflects and shape the lifestyle of society through the interaction of social and cultural elements. It includes cultural creation, social practices, institutions, freedom of expression and participation in cultural life, intercultural interaction and integration of minorities, the country's cultural policy and public initiatives. Musical art has long been a powerful form of expression capable of transcending borders and uniting people of different origins. It reflects and promotes the identity of a nation, an ethnic group, and people. That's why in recent years more and more attention has been paid to inclusion in the field of music, where artists, audience, and industry professionals strive to create an environment that welcomes and represents people from all walks of life. Each person had their own musical preferences, which have a both positive and negative impact on the formation of personality. For example, jazz, hard rock, black metal, punk, trance, all these genres have the ability to unite around themselves as a different categories of people and their excellent sound. That's why inclusion in musical art begins with embracing the diversity of musical expressions in different cultures, genres, and styles. Artists increasingly draw inspiration from a wide range of musical tradition, mixes, genres, and creating hybrid sound that challenge traditional boundaries, transforming the social cultural life of Ukraine. Musicians and composers often mix musical and linguistic genres of a different informative types. For example, etiquette sounding of a hymn or trance, purely informative, breaking jazz and rock music, genres, neutral music communication of functional types. A key aspect of inclusion in music is also the presentation and display of marginalized and underrepresented groups. In Ukraine, as in the rest of the world, efforts are being made to ensure that artists of different backgrounds, genders, racial and ethnic minorities has equal opportunities for recognition and success in the music industry. This includes promotion, inclusive programming, diverse lineups at festival, and supporting initiatives that amplify the voices of the underrepresented artists. In festival communication, music emotionally enriches the communicative event, convey creative experiences, promote mass passion and enthusiasm of the recipient audience, and break down the psychological and musical barriers between participants. For example, in 2023, the Republic Fest in Kamenets-Podilsk implemented an accessibility program that includes the promotion of inclusive art that translates the music into a sign language and performance by artists with disabilities, which contributes to their creative growth and development and popularization of inclusive musical art in Ukraine. Thanks to the translation of songs into sign language, message about the might of the people with disabilities to be recognized and supported on the equal basis with their others. The special cultural and linguistic identity, which has an impact on the socio-cultural life of Ukraine, was demonstrated to the general public. The transformative power of music is also felt in the creation of inclusive space for involving children with special needs in musical art, which is important for fostering their sense of belonging. This includes creation a supporting environment for new artists, encouraging and actively engaging the audience. For example, in 2018, Kyiv Opera Theatre presented the project Act Action Inclusion, within the framework of which blind and visually impaired children were shown the puppet show Anderson and educational and entertaining programs about music. And in Luz, in 2023, a screening of the children's musical inclusive play in Someone Else Feathers took place with the participation of children with disabilities. In Ukraine, efforts are being made to overcome barriers to music education and participation, making music accessible to people of their ages and socio-economic background. Inclusive music education in Ukraine has specific features compared to other countries. It specifically lies in the presence of a significant numbers of groups of people in need of educational inclusion, namely those who cannot attend an educational institutions due to the health reason, those who live in villages and towns when the number of students in the class levels 5 people. In armed conflict zone, in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine, or in populated areas in which state authorities temporarily do not exercise or do not fully exercise their powers, are in emergency situation of natural or man-made nature, have high educational potential and can finish school at an accelerated rate, are foreigner of a stateless person. Specific features include the widespread use of Ukrainian music art as an educational material, vocal and instrumental music, in particular folklore heritage. Musicians directly or indirectly talk about politics and broadcast their view through music. That's why inclusion in musical art, going beyond representation, can be a powerful tool for social change, thereby influencing the socio-cultural sphere in Ukraine. Artists are increasingly using their music to address present social issues, advocate for equality, and combat system of oppression. From protest songs to anthems, music has the ability to inspire, unite, promote positive social transformative in Ukraine. For example, the protest song didn't have by the band Hot Sauce, the protest track Enough by the band Tворче and rap artist Alona Alona, the song I Believe by Angelika Rudnitska, the song Come Back Alive by the band Bez Obmejin, the song Bakhmut Fortress by the band Antitila. During the Orange Revolution, Ukrainian songs became a weapon. The songs were immediately picked up by hundreds of thousands of protesting in the old squares of the country. In particular, Grinjoli, Picardy Sort, Океан Ельзи, ВВ, Тарас Петрененко, Олександр Пономарьов, Руслана Лежицька, Айдамаки, Мандри, Тартак, Таліта Кум, Тайнок на Майдані Конго, Медхец, and Росал. A special highlight of Maidan were drummers of the revolution, who turned barrels into percussion instruments and turned scaffolding into drumsticks. Inclusion in musical art promotes joint creatively and cultural exchange. For example, learning to play Ukrainian folk or folk musical instrument, especially in the process of collective music making, gives the opportunity to feel unity with the traditions of one's people, the positively of joint musical performance. Music becomes a driving force in the creation of small projects, forming network or crossing cultural borders. For example, the Polish-Ukrainian cultural connection is strengthened by the band Daga Dana, Daga from Poland and Dana from Ukraine, which created a transformation of folk heritage, mixed jazz with electronics, and shows cultural affinity. Also, at one of the most prestigious European World Music Festival, Budapest Ritma, in the 2023, Ukrainian representative presented the exhibition Ukrainian Jazzmen at War and took part in the panel discussion Music Through Conflict and Social Change, where the questions were discussed how music can help in community cohesion and intercommunity cooperation in a post-conflict condition. Despite progress, inclusion in the music art still faces a number of challenges for both individual and organizations, including unconscious bias, gender inequality, and restrictions on artist freedom in the cultural spheres. For example, musicians with disabilities remain invisible in the music industry, so performing at the festival is an opportunity for them to debut on the big stage. Music is the highly gendered because society ascribes what different genres of music, instruments, and musicians should look like when performing. Musical instruments are also gendered because society has very specific ideas about who should play which instruments. It's important for music community to actively address these issues, promote diverse representation, and create equal opportunities for all. Therefore, it can be concluded that in today's society, inclusion in musical art is a transformative and necessary effort for positive change in socio-cultural life in Ukraine. By embracing diversity, providing representation, creating accessible spaces, and using music as a vehicle for social change, artists and the music industry can foster an inclusive environment where every voice is valued and celebrated. This is not only enrich the art form, but also contribute to a more inclusive and just society, where the transformative power of music can be felt and appreciated by all. In future, promotion areas of inclusion in musical art in Ukraine that affects in socio-cultural life may be development of a state program to support inclusive musical projects, implementation of inclusive pedagogy in art education, development of digital platform for music with disabilities, support of intercultural initiatives and collaborations, formation of communities based on values of openness, equality, and creative freedom. Thus, inclusion in musical art not only enrich the cultural field, but also contribute to strengthening the democratic and humanistic foundations of the sociocultural life of Ukraine. In the future, it may become not an exception, but a norm, a driver of innovation and public unification. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sodatenko, for your valuable input and also for accepting our invitation and approaching such an important subject. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's me.